La Tacita del Plata, as many have called her, wants to introduce herself. And here we are, two locals, to tell you what to see and what to do. Travel companions, welcome to Uruguay and to this itinerary through Montevideo. The southern capital city lies along the Rio de la Plata. We find this city of almost 1.5 million inhabitants. And today, we are the ones in charge of welcoming you. Montevideo is great for a 5-day trip. But is that realistic? We know many people visit for just a day, even on cruises, without staying overnight. So we'll adapt this itinerary to all the options. If you want to enjoy this city according to the days you have to do it, you're in the right place. We'll provide a Europa Acompañada style itinerary, but for our city today, one thing's certain, you'll want to visit or return, because Montevideo, its waterfront, people, and tranquility, will make you fall in love. At the end, we'll share practical info like recommended hotels and restaurants. Day 1. On our first day, we'll focus on Montevideo's essentials, and for that, we'll start by taking a private tour in a tourist van for 3 hours. It's ideal for getting an introduction to the city from the very beginning, or if you only have 1 day to get to know it. We always tell you that we have our jobs, and besides that, a passion for traveling. In my case, I'm a music teacher. I think you already know, but Fernando works in domestic tourism in Uruguay, handling airport transfers and city tours. So on this first day, he will be the one to give us this first tour around Montevideo. Whether he picked you up at your hotel or you boarded in Montevideo from a cruise ship, the first stop will surely be Constitution Square, which is its official name, or Matriz Square, as we all call it. We are already in the heart of the old city. Here we will get off at the square. This became the main square of San Felipe and Santiago de Montevideo when the city was founded. Cafes, bars, and historic places set its rhythm. We'll walk through it at a charming antiques fair held every Saturday and daily during high season. Our watchful eyes spot objects that are precious to us and that we used to see on our grandmother's shelves. While we're absorbed, something will amaze us. The central fountain. It was designed and built in marble by the Italian sculptor Juan Ferrari, and it was inaugurated on July 18, 1871. On the day when the running water service began for the city. Marble inscriptions around the pond commemorate Uruguay's national events and name those responsible for installing the water service. It also includes symbols tied to alchemy and Freemasonry. In front of the square is the Metropolitan Cathedral of Montevideo, which I encourage you to visit and see its beautiful interior. It originated in the 18th century as San Felipe y Santiago began to form along the bay. The neoclassical, colonial-influenced building began construction in 1790 and was consecrated in 1804. Inside, illustrious figures rest, which makes the cathedral a sanctuary of both faith and historical memory. In front of the cathedral, across the square, is the Cabildo of Montevideo, the colonial city's political and administrative center. Today it is a museum. You can go inside and admission is free, but we won't do it now. Instead, we'll come back another day when we have time to visit several museums and wander through these streets of the old city. Today we'll continue with this introductory tour of the city, so now we'll head to some of its other iconic landmarks. Independence Square. It's the square you've likely seen in every city photo. And what's the first thing we'll notice when we step in? It's a large building, very distinctive, and associated with the typical postcard of Montevideo, the Salvo Palace. The Salvo Palace rises above Independence Square like a beacon of stone and history. Opened in 1928, it was South America's tallest building for years. Its Art Deco and neo-Gothic silhouette dominates Montevideo's skyline with nostalgic elegance. Inside, we find the Tango Museum. You can also take a guided tour to the top, exploring its history and enjoying magnificent city views. But we'll leave that for another day. Stay and avers your life, because I promise you it's worth it. On the opposite side of the square, we find the Citadel Gate. This gate is one of the few remaining visible parts of the old colonial fortification that protected the city. Today, it seems like nothing more than a monument, but it was once the main entrance to a fortress that guarded the young colonial city in the 18th century. Its history begins in 1741, when the Spanish ordered the construction of an imposing wall around Montevideo. It was a time of tension and conflict with the Portuguese, and the bay had to be protected at any cost. The citadel, with its bastions, moats, and cannons, was among the continent's strongest. Its main entrance was this gate, a stone arch almost 5 meters high, with a drawbridge, portcullis, and armed guards watching every person who crossed the threshold. Today, the Citadel Gate no longer guards a wall, but memory. It reminds us of a fortified Montevideo, of wartime and caution. Now we'll move further into Plaza Independencia, beyond the old citadel. At the center stands the statue of Uruguayan hero José Gervasio Artigas, and beneath it, a mausoleum that I invite you to enter, which holds the remains of the national hero. In the square, we'll again observe the surrounding buildings. Diagonally across from the square, we can see the Solis Theater. The history of the Solis begins in 1840, when a group of citizens dreamed of providing the young republic with a home for the arts. After over a decade of work, the theater opened in 1856 with its grand neoclassical facade, facing Independence Square. The Solis Theater is open to visitors, but as we already mentioned at the Cabildo, We'll leave visiting the inside of these places for another day. If we keep turning around this square, on one side, we find the Executive Tower. The Executive Tower is the headquarters of the executive branch of Uruguay, where the offices of the Presidency of the Republic are located. Nearby is the Eastavies Palace, a 19th century neoclassical jewel. Built between 1873 and 1878 as Francisco Estevão's private residence, it later served as the Presidency of the Republic's headquarters until 1985. Inside, decisions were made that shaped the nation, while its balcony witnessed presidents, heroes, and crowds pass by. Now the Government House Museum, Esteves Palace, holds national documents, portraits, symbols, and hosts ceremonial events. The museum can also be visited for free from Monday to Friday, so we will come back another day. From here, 18 de Julio Avenue, the main avenue of the city, begins. It's time to get back in the van and continue the tour, leaving the old city behind and heading into downtown Montevideo. We'll take this beautiful avenue and continue to notice how tree-lined the city is, one of its main characteristics. 18 de Julio Avenue is the backbone of Montevideo, the thread that connects Independence Square with the obelisk of the constituents, featuring beautiful buildings and shops. But now we'll take Libertador Avenue, Brigadier General La Valleja, or simply Libertador Avenue as we call it. We'll soon start to see a large building on the horizon, the Legislative Palace. On a hill in the Aguada neighborhood, visible from different parts of Montevideo, stands the Legislative Palace, one of the most majestic parliamentary buildings in the world. Here are the chambers of deputies and senators of the country. Construction started in 1908 to provide the young republic with a suitable home for its democracy. It was inaugurated on August 25, 1925, coinciding with the centennial of the Declaration of Independence, as a symbol of sovereignty and national unity. The palace was designed in a neoclassical style, with marble and granite brought from different parts of the country. The interior is a true work of art, with marble columns, stained glass, sculptures, and mosaics depicting Uruguay's story in stone and light. In the Hall of Lost Steps, the marble reflects the voices and echoes of debates that define the course of the country. More than just a building, the Legislative Palace is the institutional heart of Uruguay, a civil temple dedicated to dialogue, respect, and the law. From its staircase, the city opens up like an amphitheater. In the surrounding area, we can admire the telecommunications tower, a glass tower designed by the Uruguayan architect Carlos Sot, the same one who designed the Bastille Opera House in Paris. We can also see a period building known as the Solar Stores, which today belongs to the Electoral Court. The Plaza de Mayo, and also farther away, the University of the Republic. Honestly, this stop is wonderful because you can spend a lot of time admiring this impressive palace. But it's time to keep exploring Montevideo, so we're heading to one of those places I really like to visit. A market. The agricultural market. In La Guada, between José de Etera, Martín García, Ramón del Valle, Inclán, and Amezaga streets, stands a building filled with history, aromas, and daily life. The Montevideo Agricultural Market, better known to everyone as the Montevideo Agricultural Market. Its iron and glass structure, grand and bright, preserves over a century of urban and commercial history. The project began in 1906, when Montevideo authorities decided to create a modern market for agricultural products. Inspired by the great European metal halls of the 19th century, the work finished in 1913. Its architecture, in an industrial and Art Nouveau style, stood out for the use of cast iron and glass roofs that bathed the interior in natural light. For decades, the agricultural market was the hub where fruits, vegetables, and products from the Uruguayan countryside supplied the city. There, stallholders' cries blended with the smell of fresh bread and the bustle of carts from the outskirts. Over time, the building suffered the wear and tear of the years and the changes in the way people consumed. Late 20th century, the Montevideo agricultural market was nearly in ruins, but Montevideo remembered it. In 2013, after a thorough restoration process led by the City Hall, the market reopened its doors, completely renovated, respecting its original structure and restoring its former splendor. Today, the agricultural market is more than a shopping place. It's a cultural, gastronomic, and tourist hub. Inside, over 100 shops offer fresh products, handicrafts, traditional cuisine, and event spaces. There are fruit and vegetable stands, gourmet shops, coffee shops, ice cream parlors, restaurants, and bookstores. Each day, the Montevideo Agricultural Market hosts visitors, live music, and events celebrating the neighborhood's identity. Walking its halls, you feel Montevideo's pulse, preserving roots while reinventing itself, a place where everyday life becomes heritage, and where the past and present coexist under the same roof of iron and light. After having some time here for shopping, to have a drink, or to explore this beautiful building, we will get back on the vehicle to head to another important icon of the city and the country. For Uruguayans, soccer is a passion, so now we will go to their stadium, the Centenario. On the way, we'll see the Plaza de la Bandera, across from Tres Cruces Terminal Shopping Mall, as well as the Juan Pablo II monument with the cross that commemorates the mass he gave here in 1987. A bit ahead is the obelisk to the Constitution makers. The obelisk of Montevideo, opened in 1938, stands in Parque Valle. Sculptor José Luis Orilla, from San Martin, created it to commemorate the 1830 oath of the Constitution. It is 40 meters tall and made of granite, with figures representing liberty, law, and strength. In the heart of this park, Valle, one of the lungs of the city, it rises. Centenario Stadium, a world soccer monument and symbol of national passion. It opened in 1930 to host the first World Cup, where Uruguay became champion. Before a full crowd, it commemorates the centennial of Uruguay's first constitution oath. Designed by architect Juan Antonio Escaso, the stadium was built in record time, just 9 months. Centenario Stadium is more than a sports temple. It's the living memory of the national sport, a place where the past still echoes with every goal that shakes its history. Inside, the Football Museum showcases jerseys, trophies, photos, and memories of great sky blue achievements. Each object tells the story of a small country that made football its identity. Open Monday to Friday, we can return another day, since more places await us in the city today. There are some monuments that are very special in Montevideo, and this one we've arrived at now is one of them. Among the trees of this valley park stands one of the most important and beloved sculptures in Montevideo, the monument La Carreta. Inaugurated in 1934, it was created by Uruguayan sculptor José Belloni, who also made La Diligencia and El Entrevero. Cast in bronze, the piece depicts a wagon pulled by 3 pairs of oxen. Beyond depicting a rural scene, the sculpture highlights the traditional cargo transportation used by our nation's countrymen. The composition conveys movement and effort. The oxen move forward tensely, and the wagon seems to sink into the ground. Belloni achieved in metal what few can achieve with words, bringing history to life. La Carreta Monument is a National Historic Heritage Site and one of the park's most photographed spots. Amid calm and greenery, the wagon continues its symbolic journey. But it's time to go to one of the places where all tourists want to go to take the typical photo. This journey takes us to one of the world's most beautiful places, Montevideo's Rambla. Rambla. Is this a walk I recommend you not to miss? Could you say you haven't really been to Montevideo if you didn't make it to its Rambla? But first, the promised stop for the typical photo at the Montevideo sign. Along the Rambla de Positos by the beach, the giant Montevideo letters stand tall, one of the most visited and photographed spots in the city. With the skyline and the Rio de la Plata in the background, this sign has become the must-visit spot for taking a photo, the perfect souvenir of your visit to the Uruguayan capital. The letters are more than a sign. They're a symbol of identity, where locals and tourists celebrate pride in being in Montevideo. Don't miss this photo opportunity. We'll try many poses and are already excited to take it. That street that runs along the city's coast, which we lovingly call the Rambla, is the pride of all Montevideans. They claim it's the world's longest Rambla, but what we are sure of is that it's where Montevideo shows all its charm, until it completely captivates us. The Rambla of Montevideo is much more than an avenue by the sea. It's the open soul of the city. Stretching over 22 kilometers, it follows most of the department's southern coast, from the port to Carrasco, linking neighborhoods, landscapes, and lifestyles. Its origin goes back to the late 19th century, when the first coastal promenades and sea defenses began. Throughout the 20th century, the Rambla expanded and modernized to become one of the longest and most iconic seaside promenades.
The Rambla in Montevideo extends along the city.
Every section has a story. Stories from Ramirez Beach fishermen, Positos sunsets, Buceo's family beaches, Punta Carretas' elegance, and Carrasco's serene horizon.
Montevideo's Rambla is its... Rambla, Montevideo stretches out, Montevideo unfolds.
The Rambla is both stage and witness. Along it travel those who run at dawn, those who pedal with laughter, those who sit to watch the vast estuary.
Rambla, Montevideo. Montevideo world.
By its side, sports victories are celebrated. Summer days are bid farewell, and people share mate at the slow pace of the city.
Montevideo's Rambla, the most world-renowned.
It's also a symbol of coexistence. There, generations, accents, and customs mix together. Tourists and Montevideans share the same landscape.
No.
It doesn't matter which neighborhood or country you're from. We all end up meeting at the Rambla.
It is
A historic and cultural monument, rightfully recognized for its urban, social, and emotional value. Because the Rambla isn't tied to one era. It has grown with the city, adapting and embracing change. As the sun sets over the Rio de la Plata and lights come on, Montevideo's Rambla becomes a golden mirror. That's when the city pauses for a moment, takes a breath, and remembers who it is, a city born by the water that still finds in its shore the truest reflection of its identity. After this essential walk, we'll end the tour at another iconic Montevideo location, one of those places that everyone recognizes just by mentioning it, and which is also a must-see. We're going back to the Ciudad Vieja and heading to the Mercado del Puerto. In Ciudad Vieja, opposite Montevideo's port, is one of the city's liveliest spots, the Mercado del Puerto. Its history began in 1868 as the city expanded and maritime trade drove its growth. The business merchants of the time promoted the creation of a modern market to supply the population and receive the products that arrived by sea. The building, with a metal structure prefabricated in Liverpool, was assembled piece by piece in Montevideo in the style of 19th century great halls. Its iron and glass roof, its central clock, and its port atmosphere made it a jewel of Rio de la Plata industrial architecture. Over time, the market changed its function, but it never lost its spirit. It transformed from a supply center into a gastronomic and cultural hub, with grill fires becoming the main attraction. The scent of grilled meat, guitar music, and clinking glasses create a unique atmosphere where locals and tourists share a table. Today, Mercado del Puerto is a living postcard of Uruguay, where history, flavor, and tradition fill the air. Every corner retains the old Montevideo port's essence, and each lit grill reminds us that in this city, identity is slowly cooked with hospitality. As you walk inside, you won't just see the iron architecture we mentioned, but you'll also be tempted by the variety of restaurants on display. The grills, starting with the cooking of all kinds of meats and offal, are quite a spectacle, something I wouldn't miss. Even if you don't want to eat here, I suggest coming for a walk because it's very picturesque. The surroundings are also picturesque, and it's one of the places where you can get a souvenir to remember your visit to Montevideo. If you're enjoying the video, or most importantly, if it's helping you, we ask you to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos, guides that we have on the channel. Also, please give it a like and share it with your friends who, just like you and me, enjoy creating our own itineraries. This is the final stop of our 3-hour tour. Some will go back to the port to board their cruises, making this their city visit, in which I believe they take away an overview of the city. The cost of the tour is approximately $40 per person. You can also take the tour privately. As always, I'll include the booking contact link in the description. But others will still have the afternoon to enjoy on their own. So for those staying at least one more night, we'll continue exploring Montevideo. At the end of the tour at the Mercado del Puerto, they'll take you back to the hotel if you want, or you can stay and keep enjoying this market. Some will choose to have lunch, while others will explore the area. If the latter is your choice, I recommend going into the Carnival Museum. In the heart of this old city, just a few steps from the port and the hustle and bustle of the market, the Carnival Museum opens as a window into Uruguay's festive soul. Here, where history meets the rhythm of drums, lives the memory of the world's longest and most beloved carnival. The museum opened in 2006 in a renovated port building, now vibrant with color and sound. More than a century of Uruguayan carnival history unfolds among its halls. Costumes, masks, photos, banners, and drums from murga and comparsa once brought Montevideo's streets to life. Each display case tells a story, and every costume preserves the sparkle of summer nights on neighborhood stages. Visitors can learn about Afro-Uruguayan candombe, its ancestral energy, and parades in Barrio Sur, and the murga's evolution, featuring criticism, humor, and choral singing. There are also interactive spaces, audio visuals, and temporary exhibitions that show how Carnival is still alive, reinventing itself year after year. The Carnival Museum is open Wednesday to Sunday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Admission is 200 Uruguayan pesos, about $5, with free entry for children under 12 years old. At Rambla 25 de Agosto de 1825 on the corner, Maciel invites all visitors to discover that Uruguayan Carnival is not just danced and sung, but also felt, inherited, and celebrated year-round. You might be tired and choose to return to your hotel with a peaceful walk on your first day. But if it's your only night in Montevideo, I invite you to enjoy a very Montevidean experience to end the day. A barbecue at home with friends, just like we locals do. Are you coming? Whether you choose it for dinner or lunch, I think you can't miss it if you're visiting our country and want to experience it firsthand. The most deeply rooted tradition we have, along with mate, is lighting the grill fire with family, with friends, learning how to grill, and then enjoying that meal, and in the intimate setting of a home, Raul's house. After our tour, we can enjoy the ultimate Uruguayan experience.
We're wandering. Some cheese in a
minute, it's ready. This is the barbecue appetizer, includes some provolone cheese. Then the little barbecue.
Barbecuing with friends at home is a tradition shared by all Uruguayans. Lighting the fire, having some wine or a beer, while the coals are getting ready to cook. Meats, sausages, blood sausages, cheeses, and more. What is more than tradition is a ritual for us. As always, we tried this culinary adventure ourselves before recommending it to you. Raul and his family welcomed us with a warmth and simplicity typical of our people. Our Brazilian friends spent the evening with us, sharing beers, wine, stories, and anecdotes as Raul talked about his passion. He is a tour guide, and from there the idea came up to finish the tour with this Uruguayan experience. Well, Raul, honestly, we're excited to be here. But I'd like you to tell us a bit. What experience will a foreign tourist have dining here with you?
Foreign tourists will enjoy a cultural experience where they not only eat, but also cook together. We cook together the meat, we prepare it, we drink local wine, craft beers. It's a different cultural experience.
I can imagine how it feels for someone from a country unaccustomed to being near a grill and eating meat.
They enjoy the experience. It's a good question. Since several times they've asked me, Raul, can I light the grill with you? So they light the grill, we cook together, and then we eat together.
The truth is, it must be something impressive, besides the satisfaction. It's a satisfaction.
Personal, because it's a blessing to love what you do and to bring people to my house and share with them.
No, honestly, I congratulate you.
For your entrepreneurship, because we are delighted.
Everything had been wonderful. You can't imagine when Rosario, Raul's wife, arrived with some incredible pancakes filled with dulce de leche. No, right? Day 2 in Montevideo. On our second day exploring Montevideo, we'll take into account what day of the week it is to choose our activities. If it's Sunday, you must not miss visiting the Tristan Fair. Narvaja is the Sunday heart of Montevideo. Sunday, as the city yawns and sunlight slips between cordons balconies, a stream of people sets off, mate and thermos in hand, toward a street that is now much more than just a street. Tristan Narvaja, the most iconic market in Montevideo.
Along with the market. Subtitles by Amara Porter.
Subtitles by Amara.
It's more than a market. It's a ritual and a mirror where Montevideo's people have seen themselves for over 150 years. It might initially look like picturesque chaos. Fruit and vegetable stands mix with piles of used books, vinyl records, old tools, clothes, plants, and antiques. That seeming disorder has its own harmony, the harmony of encounter. All of Montevideo and many tourists seem to cross paths there, among the murmur of the vendors and the aroma of sausage sandwiches. Walking down Tristan Narvaja feels like visiting an open-air museum. Each stall tells a story, a lamp from another era, a camera that witnessed someone's youth, a worn-out edition of Benedetti. The booksellers are guardians of hidden treasures, and the curious browse through boxes, hoping for that discovery that seems to be waiting for them. The ground is uneven, sidewalks narrow, and you must walk slowly, not just because of the crowd, but because what's important isn't getting anywhere. It's the journey itself. Tristan Narvaja is more of a journey than a destination. On the corner of Tristan Narvaja and Cerro Largo, there's a unique spot. Bar Imperio, an antique bar where objects from another time are the stars. And having a drink there has its own charm. That vintage nostalgia makes it the perfect spot to get lost and discover something new. Note the corner of Cerro Largo and Tristan Narvaja. You move forward as if sailing among voices. The orange vendor's call, a street musician's guitar, and friends laughing as they meet unexpectedly. Amid it all, the smoke from the sausage sandwiches.
The best one is sausage. Here's the salt. Sorry, let's go.
No one who claims to know the fair leaves without that little feast. A sausage sandwich. It's an unwritten tradition, part of the experience, like looking at the stalls. Warm bread, sausage sizzling with mustard or chimichurri, and the grill's sound-enhancing conversations. Eating it while standing in the sun as people pass by is part of the ritual. Sometimes it's served with soda, other times with beer. Some do it at the start of the walk, others save it for the perfect ending. But chorizo is the common ground between generations, the taste of a Montevideo Sunday. Nowadays, we can find other street foods, brought by other cultures that have integrated into this land and enriched it. For people from Montevideo, the Tristan Narvaja Fair is a mix of nostalgia and the present. It's where grandparents took their kids, and those kids did the same. It's the place where you can buy a plant, a secondhand book, a bicycle part, or just look around. Immerse yourself in the friendly bustle of its people. It's also a place that resists the hurried pace of the world. There, time seems to move at a different speed, more human, more our own. There's something poetic about the crowd that fills the street every Sunday just to be together, walk, talk, look around, or maybe search for something unknown. What is the Tristan Narvaja Fair? You can't describe it. You have to experience it. Montevideo spills onto the streets. This is an outing I highly recommend if you happen to be in Montevideo on a Sunday. When you finish, you can continue your walk along 18 de Julio Avenue and see another section we didn't visit yesterday. There, for example, you'll find the university and the National Library. By walking and having fun, we'll reach one of the city's must-see attractions. Go up to the Mirador de la Intendencia de Montevideo to get, without a doubt, one of the best views of the city, and it's free. Located in the very heart of Montevideo, the panoramic viewpoint of the Intendencia is one of the most recommended places for those who want to see the city from above. The experience begins on the ground floor of the building, where you enter through a very practical system. At the entrance, there is a QR code that allows you to reserve your access for free. You just need to scan it with your cell phone, fill out a short form with your personal information, and choose an available time slot. This simple procedure ensures an organized and safe visit, especially during peak hours. Access to the observation deck is completely free, and once inside, we visitors are guided to the elevators that will take us to the upper floor. The elevators are external and made of glass, so you'll start enjoying the view as you're going up. On the 22nd floor of the La Intendencia building, this space offers 360-degree views from the historic center and the Rambla to Montevideo's most modern and green neighborhoods. Upon arrival, a spacious glass gallery lets you take in Montevideo from all angles. You can see the Rio de la Plata, and to the west, part of the port and old city. A highlight of the viewpoint is its photography service. Visitors can take a free souvenir photo, taken by an automated system, and then receive it by email so they won't forget their visit. Tourists and locals appreciate this detail, often sharing its image on social media with the city in the background.
Thank you for watching video.
The viewpoint is open Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and weekends 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., with possible changes on special dates.
More at www.cdc.governor.ar.
The entrance is at the back of the City Hall, on San Jose Street. The visit usually lasts about 30 minutes, which is enough time to walk around the space, take photos, and enjoy the view without rushing. But if you want to stay longer, no one will stop you. Besides the panoramic view, the place features panels explaining Montevideo's history and architecture, old photos, as well as a small shop where you can have a coffee, buy souvenirs, or pick up tourist brochures. The panoramic viewpoint of City Hall is a must-see for first-time visitors to Montevideo, and a favorite spot for locals who like to revisit and see the city from a new perspective.
When
going down. If you want to have a quick meal after finishing this visit, right across the street, there's Rudy, a highly recommended burger place. We'll continue walking along 18 de Julio until we reach Plaza Favini, as we Montevideans call it, El Entrevero. The popular name became established due to the impressive El Entrevero sculpture by Uruguayan artist José Belloni, inaugurated in 1967. Made of bronze, the piece depicts a whirlwind of human figures and horses, symbolizing the intense struggle for independence and identity. Each detail, the spears, tense faces, strained bodies, conveys energy that keeps the scene alive. Right in the city center. Today, the square is a constant meeting point, surrounded by cafes, bookstores, and shops. It blends art with everyday life. As evening falls, passers-by often rest by the fountain, while tourists photograph the artwork from various angles to capture the sense of movement that Belloni was able to convey. In the square, we find the traditional Uruguayan restaurant, La Pasiva. It's where you can't miss having a hot dog with their unique mustard, or a traditional chivito. If we have time and energy, we can end the day at a special shopping mall. We'll head to the Punta Carretas neighborhood. From downtown, we can take bus 582 to visit Punta Carretas shopping. Set in an old prison? Punta Carretas shopping is now one of the most elegant and popular shopping centers in Montevideo. It's a symbol of the neighborhood's modern growth. Yet behind its brick facades and shiny shop windows lies a story as fascinating as it is unexpected. That of an old prison turned into a space for gathering, shopping, and culture. The original building opened in 1915 as Punta Carretas Prison, one of the country's main prisons. With a neoclassical style, its structure was characterized by thick stone walls and a cross-shaped layout, typical of prisons the era. For decades, it held both common and political prisoners. The prison eventually closed, but an ambitious urban redevelopment plan revived it. Maintaining its original architecture, the old prison was transformed into a modern shopping center that would keep the past's memory while maintaining the present's spirit. In 1994, Punta Carretas Shopping opened, pioneering heritage recycling in Uruguay. It blends the historic charm of the original walls with a bright, modern interior. Visitors can still recognize some remnants of the old prison, such as the stone walls, its exterior bars, and the arches that once guarded cells. Today, the shopping center features over 200 stores, a large food court, movie theaters, cafes, and cultural spaces. Its prime location near the Rambla and Punta Carretas lighthouse makes it a landmark for both tourists and Montevideo locals. If it's already dinner time and you want to stay in the neighborhood, you can go to Garcia or La Perdiz, both of which are good restaurants. We said we would start at the market if it was Sunday, but if it were Saturday instead of Sunday, you can swap the visit to the market for a visit to Palacio Salvo, the icon of Montevideo. And in that case, take a walk along Avenida 18 de Julio. It would be reversed if you started at El Salvo in the morning. Majestic and mysterious, Palacio Salvo is a major symbol of Montevideo. At the corner of Avenida 18 de Julio and Plaza Independencia, this historic building has stood gracefully since 1928, when it opened as South America's tallest. Its silhouette, visible from different points in the city, continues to be a landmark for locals and visitors. Designed by architect Mario Palanti, the same creator of the Palacio Barolo in Buenos Aires, El Salvo combines Art Deco, Neo-Gothic, and Renaissance styles, forming a unique work of its kind. For decades, it was home to offices, hotels, and residences, and today it houses a mix of cultural spaces, art workshops, residences, and guided tours that allow you to discover its history from the inside. The official tour of the Palacio Salvo offers the chance to learn not only about its architecture and history, but also to access its famous viewpoint. From there, you get some really great views of Montevideo. During the tour, you walk through the original hallways, hear anecdotes about its construction, and visit its old salons. Guided tours are held on Saturdays. The entrance fee is 550 Uruguayan pesos, about $13. You can get them at the venue or online. I'll leave a link in the description and on the blog. The meeting point to start the tour is the main hall of the palace on Plaza Independencia. The tour lasts 45 minutes. Accompanied by a guide, you'll tour the exterior of the building, the rooftop, the observation deck, and some notable floors. Take the elevator up to the observation deck for a unique view of the old city, bay, and Rambla Sur. The experience combines history, architecture, and excitement. It's a journey into the past that helps you understand how Palacio Salvo shaped Montevideo's urban identity and gradually became a cultural and tourist landmark. Visiting Palacio Salvo is more than just seeing the observation deck. It lets you experience the city's soul and is truly worthwhile. It tells how the Salvo family built this building to run as a hotel. You can also see the details with Amazonian symbolism in its floors and the rest of its architecture. The guide presents it engagingly. The visit also includes the Tango Museum, which celebrates musician and composer Gerardo Matos Rodriguez and his iconic work, La Comparsita. If you like learning about the history of places, this tour is ideal. Day 3. For this third day, we will go to the El Prado neighborhood. Now we'll take public transportation. We'll take the bus that will take us to the neighborhood. El Prado is one of the most iconic and charming neighborhoods in Montevideo. In the city's northwest, it blends the tranquility of a botanical garden with the charm of a historic neighborhood. Its wide tree-lined avenues, century-old parks, and stately mansions make El Prado a unique place where aristocratic history, cultural life, and constant contact with nature coexist. The origins of the neighborhood date back to the 19th century, when the wealthiest families in the city began to build their summer residences here. They were drawn by the Miguelete stream's freshness and the wide green spaces. Over time, those estates and gardens became public parks, museums, and promenades, now part of Montevideo's heritage. Among its main attractions are the Prado Rose Garden, the Botanical Garden, the Blaines Museum, and the Church of the Carmelites, among other sites of great architectural and cultural value. And now we will see them on a walking tour, which will take us on a walk of about 4 kilometers. We will start at the Church of the Carmelites. On the quiet streets of El Prado rises a silhouette that seems to come from another era, the Church of the Carmelites, officially called the Parish of Our Lady of Mount Carmel and Saint Teresita. Its neo-Gothic style, with tall towers, colorful stained glass windows, and pointed arches, makes it one of the most beautiful religious buildings in Montevideo. Built between 1929 and 1964, it was inspired by the great European cathedrals. Inside, light filters through stained glass, creating a peaceful, reflective atmosphere. Many visitors come here. The temple is valued not only spiritually, but also for its architecture and heritage, as it is a national historic monument. We continue walking through this neighborhood. We are about a kilometer away from the next stop. In the Prado neighborhood, we also see leadership. Now we came to see it. I'll show it to you in pictures. If you're around here, it's a very large green space. The Prado neighborhood, that's really worth exploring. Everything is nearby and within walking distance. The La Dirigencia Monument, created by sculptor José Belloni, was inaugurated in 1952. This striking bronze sculpture at the corner of Miragustin and Lucas Oveis avenues honors the first transportation linking Montevideo with the country's interior in the 19th century. The work shows a stagecoach pulled by 6 horses in full motion with striking realism. Belloni, who also created La Carreta and El Entrevero, we saw on days 1 and 2, captured the energy and dynamism of a journey on old Uruguay's dusty roads in this piece. Each detail, from the taut reins to the horses' and passengers' expressions, showcases his mastery and sense of movement. The monument, over 4 meters tall and 10 meters long, was cast in bronze in Italy from Belloni's model made in his Montevideo workshop. The scene conveys a sense of progress, of collective momentum, as if the horses were about to leap off the pedestal to continue their journey. From here on, we walk slowly, enjoying all the greenery this area has to offer, and that's how we arrive at one of the neighborhood's iconic places, the Prado Rose Garden. We're 750 meters away. Hidden among the tree-lined parks and paths of Prado is one of Montevideo's most romantic and iconic spots, the Prado Rose Garden, a historic garden that has dazzled with its beauty, its architecture, and its nostalgic atmosphere for over a century. The Rose Garden opened in 1912 amid major urban growth in the city as part of the vision of the landscape architect Carlos Racine, who was of French origin and who imagined a space inspired by early 20th century European gardens. The design blends the geometric flower beds with the natural surroundings, forming a harmonious ensemble that retains its original charm. Today, the Rosedal del Prado is a cherished part of Montevideo's cultural and landscape circuit. Its flowery arches, brick paths, and the central fountain with sculptures make it an ideal place to enjoy in spring, when roses in all their shades perfume the air and transform the park into a natural spectacle. But we continue the walk. Now we are a little more than a kilometer away from reaching the botanical garden. Where ancient trees blend with birds' song, this is the Attilio Lombardo Botanical Garden, one of Montevideo's oldest and most peaceful spots. Opened in 1902, it's a true natural refuge in the city. It's one of the country's top scientific and educational institutions, focused on studying and conserving flora. The garden covers about 13 hectares of land, crossed by paths, bridges, and streams that invite you to stroll through it leisurely. Along the walk, we can see over 1,000 native and exotic plant species grouped by botanical family and region. There are impressive trees, medicinal plants, species endemic to Uruguay, and corners where nature seems to have remained untouched for centuries. Besides recreation, the botanical garden also serves important educational and scientific purposes. The Botanical Museum, opened in 1975, showcases seeds, herbariums, and educational materials on Uruguayan flora, along with public activities, environmental workshops, and guided tours for schools and tourists. Admission is free. Usual hours are Monday to Sunday, 7:30 a.m. to 7 o'clock p.m., but may vary by season. From here, we will continue the walk to the most recommended visit, the Blaines Museum. We're about a kilometer away. Amid Prado's serene greenery stands the Juan Manuel Blanes Museum, a beloved and iconic Uruguayan cultural institution in Montevideo. Housed in an elegant 19th-century neoclassical mansion, this museum contains some of the most important works of national art. The building was originally a family residence built around 1870, and it still preserves its stately atmosphere, with spacious galleries, columns, and large windows that open onto the gardens of the Miguelete stream. In 1930, the Uruguayan state made it a museum to honor painter Juan Manuel Blanes. Known as the Painter of the Nation, he is famous for his historical portraits and his scenes that immortalize key moments of Uruguayan identity. In its halls, works by Blanes, his son Nicanor Blanes, and Pedro Figari, among others, are exhibited. The surroundings of the museum are part of the experience themselves, since the mansion and its park are beautiful. To complete your visit, there's a peaceful Japanese garden behind the building, donated by the government of Japan in 2001. With ponds, bridges, and bonsais that delicately contrast with the classic architecture of the house. The museum is open Tuesday to Sunday, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. with free admission. It also organizes guided tours, workshops, and outdoor cultural activities, making use of the beautiful surroundings. Visiting the Blanes Museum offers a look at Uruguayan painting and immerses you in the Prado neighborhood. Today, we'll end our day in this peaceful neighborhood. If you want to stay here, there are places to eat, such as the Prado Market. The Don Andres restaurant. Anyway, at the end, we'll leave you a list of restaurants in Montevideo, as we already mentioned.
Thank you for watching the video. Day
4. Today, we can explore the old city, starting with a fritter. We skipped it on the first day because it covers only this part of the city and would leave out other areas of Montevideo. But, as we always tell you, fritters are a good option. Remember, they're not free. We should leave a payment based on our experience. Most of them depart from Plaza Independencia. I'll leave the link to it in the description. We'll keep sharing another tour here for you to try after the free tour. We'll visit several museums located here in the old city, so you can choose the ones you prefer, most of which have free admission. Depending on where the free tour ends, that's where we'll start, but I'll leave an order that you can obviously reverse. We'll start at Zabala Square. Zabala Square is among the city's most iconic spots. It was inaugurated in 1890, designed in the French style, and located where the government house was during colonial times. At its center is the striking equestrian statue of Montevideo's founder, Bruno Mauricio de Zabala, surrounded by leafy trees and elegant buildings, recalling past splendor. The majestic Taranco Palace stands before the historic Plaza Zabala, an architectural gem evoking early 20th century European elegance. Designed by the French architects Charles-Louis Giraud and Jules Chifflot, the same ones who worked on projects like the Petit Palais in Paris, the palace was built between 1907 and 1910 as the residence of the Ortiz de Taranco family. Today, this impressive building is home to the Museum of Decorative Arts, one of Montevideo's finest. Its rooms, carefully preserved, combine 18th century French furniture, porcelain, tapestries, sculptures, and crystal lamps. The museum lets you experience the luxury and style of another era, while also showing daily life in Montevideo's past high society. Its windows overlook Plaza Zavala, highlighting the link between the palace's splendor and the old city's elegant design. Admission is free, open Tuesday to Saturday, 11 a.m., 6 p.m. It's important to keep in mind, when planning your itinerary to visit the museums in Montevideo, that most of them are closed on Sundays and Mondays. Now we're going just a few steps away to the Casa de la Valleja Museum, a beautiful and very well-preserved colonial mansion. In Montevideo's old city center, the Casa de la Valleja preserves both the memory of a heroic era and the everyday flavors and customs of the 19th century. Inside its walls, Juan Antonio Lavalleja's home hosted gatherings, social events, and meals that united families and patriots at one table. Now turned into a museum, this old residence invites you to discover how people lived and ate in other times. In its kitchen, with a brick floor and iron utensils, examples of furniture are preserved, and the tools used to prepare the food. Brazier stoves, mortars, copper molds, and large pots created classic stews, breads, and sweets. The Casa de la Valleja not only tells the story of Uruguayan independence, but also that of a culture that found in food a deep bond with the land, and we can also enjoy a colonial building that shows us what that era was like. Admission is free, open Wednesday to Sunday, 12-6 p.m. Now we're going to another house museum, General Rivera's house. Less than 200 meters away is the Casa de Rivera, one of the oldest buildings in Montevideo. Its stone walls and colonial architecture preserve the memory of the early days of the city and the country. It belonged to General Fructuoso Rivera, Uruguay's first president and a key figure in its founding. Today, the house is part of the National Historical Museum, and its rooms take you through the history of Uruguay across different eras. Spaces are recreated with furniture, portraits, and personal belongings, illustrating society's transformation from colonial times to the independent state. But the Casa de Rivera covers more than political history, also sharing the nation's cultural, social, and artistic changes. From the echoes of independent struggles to Montevideo's evolving customs, Each room shows how Uruguayan identity was formed. Admission is free, and the opening hours are from Wednesday to Sunday, from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. We'll walk along Sarandi Pedestrian Street back to Plaza Matriz. Sarandi Pedestrian Street is a promenade perfect for a leisurely stroll. Here, heritage buildings, art galleries, bookstores, cafes, and shops that preserve the charm of bygone eras all blend together. As we walk, visitors can appreciate the eclectic architecture from the 19th and 20th centuries, with restored facades and balconies adorned with wrought iron. Along the way, you'll see key sites of Montevideo's culture, like the Torres Garcia Museum, Uruguay Club, and Plaza Matriz, with its cathedral and craft fair. A square we already saw on the first day, but right in front of that square is the Cabildo of Montevideo, which we will actually enter today. Its stone walls hold the memory of the days when the city began to write its destiny. Here, the colonial authorities gathered. Here, the first voices of independence echoed. Here, the foundations of the nation that was about to be born were forged. Today, that ancient building of power has become a space open to everyone, the Cabildo Historical Museum. Its rooms let you explore the country's history, from colonial times to the formation of the Uruguayan state, through documents, portraits, objects, and testimonies that revive past protagonists. Walking its halls, you feel the impact of decisions that changed the Rio de la Plata. Each display case holds a story. Each room reveals a different era. Colonial Montevideo, the struggles for independence, the first symbols of the Republic. The museum is open Monday to Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., with free admission. After walking just 100 meters more, we reach the Andes 1972 Museum. On Rincon Street is the Andes 1972 Museum, a deeply human space that preserves the memory of one of the most impactful stories of the 20th century, the Andes plane crash, which occurred in October 1972 when a Uruguayan plane carrying a rugby team crashed in the mountains. Inaugurated in 2013, the museum displays original objects recovered from the mountain, documents, photos, stories, and videos that narrate the 72 days the young Uruguayans endured in extreme conditions before being rescued. Each displayed item, a boot, radio, or cross made from fuselage, carries a story of courage and hope. The Andes 1972 Museum is open from Tuesday to Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and admission costs 300 Uruguayan pesos, about $8. Tickets can be purchased on site or online. I'll leave a link in the description and on the blog. Now we're going to take the guided tour of the Solis Theater. Overlooking Independence Square, the majestic Solis Theater is one of Montevideo's most iconic buildings and a gem of Uruguay's cultural heritage. Opened in 1856, the Solis is South America's oldest operating theater and one of its most beautiful. Its neoclassical architecture, designed by architect Carlos Succi, combines elegance and grandeur. The main facade, with its Corinthian columns and triangular pediment, is reminiscent of the great European theaters of the time. Its interior dazzles with ornamental richness, perfect acoustics, and a refined atmosphere that envelops every spectator. For over 150 years, the Solis Theater has hosted operas, concerts, ballets, plays, and performances by national and international artists. In 2004, it was fully restored and modernized, preserving its original structure and adding advanced technology, restoring its historical splendor. Today, besides its rich artistic program, El Solís provides guided tours where visitors explore its history, boxes, stage, and ornate halls. These tours are held from Tuesday to Sunday at 4 p.m. The entrance fee is 200 Uruguayan pesos and 400 pesos for foreigners, about $10. Children under 12 do not pay. On Wednesdays, tours are free for everyone. Tickets are available at the theater box office, where you can also view the latest show schedule. Leaving the Solís and already at Independence Square, we will visit the Esteves Palace again. The Esteves Palace is a 19th century architectural gem that today houses the Government House Museum. It was formerly the presidential headquarters. This elegant neoclassical building, inaugurated in 1874, was the president's residence and office until 1985. Currently, the museum preserves original furniture, documents, portraits, and personal belongings of various Uruguayan presidents, offering a journey through the political and Republican history of the country. Its restored rooms let visitors appreciate the building's historical value and architectural beauty. Admission is free. Winter hours, free, 10 o'clock a.m., 4:45 p.m., summer, 8 o'clock a.m., 2:30 p.m. Filming and taking photographs are not allowed during the tour, so this is all we can show. The museum is interesting. Also farther from the old city, but interesting for soccer lovers, we have the Football Museum at the Centenario Stadium. The Football Museum shows the history of Uruguay's most beloved sport, with trophies, jerseys, and unique memorabilia inside the Centenario Stadium. It is open from Monday to Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and on Sundays from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. General admission is 150 pesos for residents, and 300 Uruguayan pesos, about $9 CU, for foreigners. Children under 12 enter for free. Today was a museum day, but here we are showing just a few of all the ones you can find in the capital. Day 5. On this 5th day, we're going to show you different options, some farther from downtown and others outside the district. There are several to choose from. We'll start with the closest one. We can walk the entire Rambla of Montevideo to the Canelones border, passing Parque Rodó, the city's green lung. It combines art, lakes, gardens, and our amusement park. Throughout the whole tour of Montevideo, we've been recommending some places to eat, so we can't leave this one out. On Dr. Emilio Frugoni, right across from the Montevideo Rambla, is the bar, Tincal, which is home to a chivito that's already legendary. Many of us believe it's the best chivito in Montevideo. Tender beef, fresh bread, and a simple, perfect flavor that wins you over instantly. If you're looking for the most authentic chivito in the city, we believe it's here at Tincal. As they say, chivito is meant to be eaten with your hands. We'll also stop by the Fisherman's Walk. Between Parque Rodó and Rambla Presidente Wilson, the Fisherman's Walk overlooks the Rio de la Plata. Renovated and lively, this part of the Rambla maintains the simple spirit of fishing and gathering. It's a spot I recommend you visit, especially for the views of Playa Ramirez. Here in this part of the Rambla, we find the memorial to the Holocaust of the Jewish people, a space for silence and remembrance. Broken, scattered stones suggest interrupted paths, while the sloping surfaces draw us into a history we must never forget. We continue our journey. At the top of Punta Gorda, Plaza Virgilio provides one of the most iconic views of Montevideo. From its viewpoint, you can see the Curva de la Rambla, the Rio de la Plata, and a large part of the city. It's a peaceful meeting spot, chosen by those who want to watch the sunset or simply pause in front of the horizon. Its central monument and open terraces make it an iconic place to look at Montevideo. We arrive in Carrasco, where the old Hotel Casino Carrasco is now the Sofitel. Opened in 1921, its neoclassical architecture and domes recall an era of glamour and elegance. It's worth a visit. One option for this tour is to rent a bicycle. There are also organized bike tours that go through part of the Old City and part of the Rambla, all the way to the Punta Carretas area. I'll leave it for you in the description. Here in Carrasco, we leave you the option of the Manzana restaurant. Very good food. Another option is a tour in areas a bit farther from downtown. The main one is going up Montevideo Hill to get the best views of the city and its bay. The fortress has overlooked Montevideo from the hilltop since its beginnings. Built in the 18th century, its stone and cannon preserve the memory of the city and the Rio de la Plata, symbol, history, and defense. We could also visit the Church of El Torito, visible from much of Montevideo. The National Sanctuary of the Sacred Heart of Jesus stands in the heart of Cerrito de la Victoria. The parish was established in October 1919, and shortly after, the cornerstone was laid. Since then, its dome has dominated the neighborhood, and its silhouette has become one of the most recognizable symbols of Montevideo. Also visit Montevideo's west side, like Colón and Villa Colón, known for their old houses and the iconic Colegio Pío. Villa Colón, northwest Montevideo. Originally a small town among orchards and vineyards, it eventually became part of the city. Its streets still hold a peaceful atmosphere from the past, with old homes, tree-lined squares, and historic buildings like Iriarte Borda Castle. Or the earlier mentioned Pío School, Uruguay's first Salesian school, and Montevideo's only Columbus monument. Today, it marks the shift from Montevideo's rural past to its modern urban present. For these 3 tours, we recommend hiring a car service or a van to do the tour and not going on your own. Alternatively, if you love wine in rural areas, you can visit Bausa Winery. Minutes from downtown Montevideo, Busa Winery offers an experience blending tradition, scenery, and fine wine. In the heart of the Rincon de Melilla area, you'll start enjoying the surroundings as soon as you leave the main road and enter Camino de la Redención. There, farms, apple and pear orchards, and large country houses line the way until you reach the winery. Vineyards line up in quiet, tidy rows, reflecting a family story dedicated to caring for the land. The visit starts among sunlit southern vineyards. It continues in the cellars, where wine ages in barrels, ending with a guided tasting that reveals each vintage's identity. The restaurant, integrated into the surroundings, enhances the experience with dishes designed to highlight the aromas and flavors of the wine. More than a winery, Busa is an encounter with calm, dedication, and the art of making wine, an experience for all the senses. Guided tours are available, with optional transportation and meals. I'll leave all the options in the description. It's a visit we recommend doing. Another option is a day tour to Punta del Este or Colonia del Sacramento. We can leave Montevideo and take the opportunity to visit another place within the country. Punta del Este, a renowned resort, or Colonia del Sacramento, a historic Portuguese-founded city. Thank you, Elle. I'll put the contact info in the description and show the QR code on screen so you can book these tours.
Thank you for watching.
Did we see all of Montevideo in the video? No, but nearly. And you'll get a very complete idea of the capital, enjoying it. Travel companions, we welcome you to our city.